Right, so we're into the build at last. This is the Eduard MiG-21 PF 148 scale weekend edition, but we're adding a Brassin cockpit set. The reason I add it, I love the detail of these things. They really do make it finished off. But the one thing you have to realise with resin is it is nasty. It will get you. It's very, very nasty stuff to work with. Take every precaution you can with it. Although, you know, what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to wear a mask because I'm talking at the same time. And to be honest, you wouldn't hear me. So I'm lucky I've got good ventilation here. And everything gets sucked up the chimney. So that's pretty cool. But the first thing we have to do is to get rid of these plugs, the mould plugs. But first of all, we need to see exactly where the mould plug need to be cut. Instructions. So I'm just going to show you the way I do it, and then I'll do the rest, and we'll come back later on for a bit more of the build. First of all, we need to find the resin tub and exactly what we're going to do with it. So it's that bit there. So it's really, there's a line, don't know how well you can see that, but there's a line that goes across there and down. So really what we want to do is to get this cut off nicely. Now, simplest thing to do to make life a little easier, bit of old white tack or blue tack, whatever. This has been about forever here, or since I've been modelling, but there you go. Anyway, and that holds the bit in place just to make life a little bit easier while you cut it. A lot of people use the smaller razor saws. I tend not to. I tend to use the bigger stuff. We're cutting along quite a deep part. We've got a new blade in this one, so we're going to use this one. We'll go right. So get it nice and level on the cut, and just gradually start her off. As you can see, there's dust coming off straight away. So we're just gently cutting, keeping everything level and square, he says as he drops it. You can see this dust, this is what you don't want to inhale. So we're just gently letting the saw do the work. So it's just cutting through. Long strokes. Billy's got an itchy ear, if you can hear him in the background. Just come off that, so get it back on. Keeping it nice and level, just going down until we get to the blade cut, or the cut off point, which we can't do anything else about. So we're nice and level that far. This dust, don't even go near it if you can help it. Right, the same again, this edge, keeping it gentle, rubbing the saw along, and just let the saw do the work. There's no pressure being put on this saw, it's purely doing it itself. The blade is doing, the sharpness of the saw is doing its work. You don't need to put pressure on it, you don't need to push, and like that when I fall off it. No, you don't need to put the pressure down. The saw is sharp enough, just the weight of it will cut through. And there we go. And we have almost a perfectly clean cut. Then all I do, get a rough sanding stick and rub it over to smooth it off. Turn it around. Nearly there. Do nicely. It's all level all around. Alright, not perfect at the bottom, but you're never going to see it. You just want a bit so it's reasonably level. Blow, pretty good. Right, we've managed to get a bit of dust everywhere. So what we'll do, I'll just show you how I clean it up. Get rid of the blue tack, that'll be used again in a minute. Damp cloth with another piece of cloth at the edge, just tucked underneath. Wet, it's got to be wet. And pick it up, making sure you pick the whole low up onto the next cloth. So I'm not doing this with a mask, so I'm being extra careful, sitting further away from the desk to make sure I don't breathe it in. Apart from the fact I smoke like a chimney, but you know, what's a bit of resin? Then put that bit into there, pull out the old one, tuck it up, bin it straight away. That's the best way that I know of getting rid of resin dust. We're pretty much clean. Me and Billy, we're alright now. We've got to do okay. So I'll move on to the next part. I'll get all the bits cleaned up, ready to go for the seat, and we'll come back when we're ready to glue the seat up.